Hey everybody, welcome to the live Wednesday session. This is the pre-market show, I guess you would call it nowadays, Ty. But of course, we do these every week on Wednesday in Australian time for our private community and for the community here for FX Evolution Live. Guys, I hope you're having a great week. It's been a lot of volatility. We were correct on one thing, and that was that the SP 500 was the key to be watching this week, and it turns out that it looks very positive. So we'll start as usual with some currency discussion, then we'll get into some commodities discussion, then we'll get into some stock markets and end up with the crypto. And there's a lot to discuss here, isn't there, Ty? Implied volatility, as in the VIX has been at all-time, well, not all-time highs, but definitely recent highs. We got above 30, and it led for some very fast and nimble action. It shows you the algorithms are everywhere in this market right now, aren't they?
They are. They're playing havoc. Welcome, everyone. And yeah. Look, we are always seeing it time and time again around this time of year. Volatility increases before the Santa rally. Then the question starts to come: is there going to be a Santa rally? Is there not going to be a Santa rally? Who the hell knows? But all we know is the trading is good in between, and we're starting to see some of these things break out. So let's jump straight into it.
All right, we'll start here with the DXY, I think, Ty. So dollar index kind of hit what we expected it to do. And I would say that weekly, the top-down analysis approach really works out well here. So we have that rejection. We've got the long leg doji. We're now looking at a potential another week of rejection here on the DXY. And I think there's a myriad of reasons why this has happened. But my big one is it's run away from the moving averages a little bit too fast here, hasn't it, Tyrone? So we look even at the daily. The daily 20 has finally captured it. But in general, it's been very aggressive. We have our previous trend line. So here's our previous trend line that was so good for some time. And we've got some finally showing some weakness. And for gold traders, they might be getting a little excited by this, because what does that look like, guys? Tyrone, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. Look, and you can see the candles are very, very volatile. You can see there's very, very big legs on these candles. So the bodies are far smaller than the actual movement of the actual day that we're looking at. This is a daily chart. So very, very important to, really isolate that, know and understand that's what's happening. So know that the confusion is there, uncertainty is there. And yeah, Tom's right. It's escaped away from the moving averages so quickly that it's really giving them a time to catch up. That's what we're seeing here. Which way it'll go? Look at the weekly. They are serious rejection candles.
Serious indecision here and rejection, but that daily is starting to compete with it. So that we did go a little bit lower. Obviously, we look for a closure below here, don't we, Ty? But that's starting to get a bit more damning. And we might not trade the DXY right now, but what we might do is move across to the euro. Of course, the euro is going to be the pick. Hey, what's up, euro? We're ready. We're ready for you. We're watching. So the euro has a pretty cool level on it. We've got the trough. We've got the peak. We've got the higher trough. A little bit of rejection here. Imagine if we now get a higher peak. Where is the next zone? I think we've got a cool participation zone here that might happen over the next week. And I'm going to set some alerts. Let me put a little box there. What do you think, Ty? You like this zone? I like this zone.
If it does it, it's going to be very, very good for the euro. Very, very good.
Bam, bam. Get through. 20 moving average will be breached. That is, remember, we talked about the 1, the 2. We get the 3. It's sold off. It turned out to be pretty good. But if we come back up and breach it, first signs of recovery, second signs of recovery, and we would love to long this thing into that zone should it occur. Obviously, new low, well, then you're starting to talk about shorting it. But at this stage, it's looking okay. I would trap it up. I would probably have the key support set as an alert, the resistance set as an alert. I'd go out to the weekly, and I'd say, you know what? If we get underneath this zone, we're going really downtown. I mean, I'm thinking 110.
Easy. Before breakfast.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it could be a very fast sell-off. So
it could be very,
and
very
the market's
fast
showing this. I mean, look, rejection up, indecision, doesn't know what it wants to do. Currently rejecting, decision made, move to the next level.
Yep.
It's a beautiful poetry right around that zone.
Absolutely. Solid Snake says that the CPI will show the way. So much confidence from the Solid Snake. So much confidence.
Well, see, if you ever played Metal Gear Solid, if you played Metal Gear Solid, Solid Snake is scary. is a bit of an assassin. So maybe he knows what's going on in the markets. I love that game, man. That was the best. That's a bygone era. I heard like it's from 20 years ago. I reckon now that one. So euro US dollar, definitely a very key level. We know we've got the resistance 1.138. Actually, it's an 800 too, Ty. Yeah, we don't talk about that much anymore, but maybe when we get into a bit more currency and we get a little bit more action, we'll start talking about the 80s, the 20s, and the 00s again. Exciting times. Pound weakness, still showing relative signs of weakness. Going to the daily, it's just grinding down. I don't think much of this right now. I mean, still got an important zone here, but yeah, nothing for me. For you?
No, it's not doing anything for me. It won't excite me until it gets back to the 20. Actually,
we talked about the 20. We talked about the euro pound in recent weeks. That actually has been a pretty exciting trade. It ended up making an accumulation base. We've got a triple bottom here. We got some nice left-hand side action and a beautiful left-hand side here. We close above it marginally and we get that ramp up. I think that's a pretty good trade. You've got good support here now as well. And it looks like the euro may even be stronger than the pound. So it's still a pair to watch. But down here, that's exactly what you want to happen after a huge crash. Base, plenty of weird shorting that then gets breached and a super explosion for day traders. One to keep in your mind. If you could snap your trade that one and you would watch that and have that literally in your mind for the future, there's many things that I like about this one. So it's a good zone. And we did discuss it before. I think the weakness in the potential DXY could lead into some serious strength in old gold as well. Now, Ty, we're in December. It's been disappointing, frankly. Do you still have the faith?
Yes.
Still got the faith.
All we're waiting for is the lightning bolt to well and truly work out on a bigger time frame. And that isn't an early December move. It's a 2-month move. And we know historically it's strong for several weeks, not just the start of December. It starts in the start of December and builds up all the way to January. So really nothing to be concerned about in my mind. I think we shouldn't be in it yet. Hasn't done it yet. But when it does do it, I'll certainly be very, very comfortable because I think that it's doing all the things that it needs to do. It's coming off the base that we wanted it to.
Yeah, it's certainly showing the signs of being a bit of what I would call a trapinator. And that's not a word, but we'll call it the trapinator.
We can make it a word
because it's
a
word.
Webinar. We'll make it a word.
Trapinator. It's trapinated us. It's trapinated many people out there. And I did warn against this, and I think Tyron has as well. This idea that while the market looks super bearish, it's a little too convincingly bearish.
Yeah.
Sometimes you look at it and you go, whoa, whoa. What is this saying to us? It's dumped a lot. It's then rallied, rejected, but not really done that kind of 2 steps down, 1 step back. It's just instantly rejected at a seasonally time of strength. And I don't like that. But we closed above 10, bam.
100%. And what it's doing, Thomas, is effectively, look, it's been a long time between drinks for you and I, but this is effectively, you walk into a bar on a Saturday night and it's like, it's amazing how much girl attention you get because they want you to buy them a drink. They're basically leading you on to get a drink, free drink. And that's all that's going to happen. That's what gold is doing to you. It's fooling you into thinking that this is, you're all happy. We're going to go short. We're going to 1600. Yeah, right. Yeah. All it's doing is teasing. And once it breaks past those MAs, it gives us a signal. Off we go. I think I still really like it. I think it's found itself at a really, really nice base. It needs to break those MAs in the 4 hour. And once it does that and gets above that 1800 again.
MAs, if you could believe it. Yep. That's the daily MAs. If we crack that
daily, wow. The 4 hour was similar.
Yeah. So, well, they all are. They're riveting.
Trade. That's
so above 1810, guys, set the alerts, get ready, and get the drinks ready. It's got to be free flowing. It's the tabs on tie? That's what
tabs on tie.
Tab is on tie. Tabs on tie. It slips off the tongue so easily like that.
Too easy, actually.
That may have happened a few times. Tabs on tie.
Especially in Cairns, for those of you who are coming to the
conference. Remember, the word tabs on Tom never comes out of your mouth, okay? Always tabs on tie. That's how we go with it. All right, so gold, 1810, that's the level of resistance that we're looking at. 2 hour here. We would love to see this thing breach. It'd be fantastic, and it would be along the lines of what we'd like to see: the false break to the downside, the recovery, all of those types of signs. Silver is also a bit strange here, Ty, but I want to show you the daily, because the daily's kind of been rejecting. It's kind of showing, all right, well, we pay attention to this level. This one's more considered. It's actually gone long leg doji with the low and the high. We've got a rejection week taking out a lot of stops that would have been here for whatever reason. Then we've got another one that takes out probably a few people's stops, another style of long leg doji, and we've got a lot of resistance sitting around this 2250, 2260. I think it's 2260. So should this break out, could this present an opportunity to the buy side? I mean, it's starting to look a little white coffee on the smaller time frames. I think if you broke this down to a 15-minute time frame, in many ways, it has that maximum pain theory. We've got accumulation, we've got that nasty max pain, we've got similar hold patterns here, and we breach through. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I don't hate it, but I certainly am considering that 2260. Your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I think it needs to break that. I like what it's doing. I think if it breaks the 2260, it's going to be looking good. And I think it sells a very similar story to gold, really. In if anything, this actually looks stronger, actually. Yeah, I like it. I do like it. Golly gosh, everybody. Now, when Tom says tabs on Ty, yeah, that doesn't mean it's going to be tabs on Tom at the conference, guys. So just
no. Tabs on Ty.
Dane and Dave. Yeah, it's actually tabs on Tom at the conference. He is shouting for at least 2 hours after the dinner. I heard.
That seems very unlike me to do, but that's okay. I'll shout free fish that I'll bring back. All right. So I like the silver. I like what's going on there. We'll move over to the odd because a few people are discussing this. This area here, this support becomes resistance zone. I'm not sure if I love this. I mean, it's very strong. It looks strong here, but the odd for me, Ty, it's been freaky. It's been weird. It's been obviously declining, which has been strong, but I find it difficult always to buy it, even though it's been off a great support. Here, are we in a zone that's very difficult and compared to the euro?
Yes, I think it is. Look, it's kind of done its job already. The Christmas cheer came early when it hit 70 cents. This one, I mean, it was always going to find support at 70, really. Yeah, realistically, it was always going to find some sort of rejection from it. I'm not convinced of the long. I've got to say, I don't totally trust it. I can see this hovering around the 70 cent for a long time. Like, and when I say a long time, I'm talking about, a good consolidation period. It's done a really, really big move. I mean, she's come down a long, long way from the glory days of, 75. And it looks like all the experts were calling 80. That was your telltale sign to sell. So it's always going to come down. I don't know. I mean, this to me could be like a little bit of a con job, actually. It was always going to bounce off. I'm not convinced it's going to go really long from here. I think Klim might have asked that question in the room earlier. Yeah, it hasn't convinced me. The only thing that will convince me, Klim, is on this particular one, the 4 hour or the daily has to do a serious lightning bolt, and no time frame shorter than that will convince me otherwise. That needs to happen for mine. If that happens, then we'll start looking at the opportunities to go there. But for me, any long is a counter trend, absolutely, and it needs to be treated as such.
Yeah, I guess I don't mind that. That is the one thing. But as Tyron mentioned, if we can get something like this going on, that would be fantastic.
Different story. Very, very different story. Absolutely.
Very aggressive here. It has been. So this will be an interesting one. And I think for the currencies, if you do have one that's showing great technicals, put it in the room right now. You guys know what to look at. But my thought process was the euro US dollar this week. That was one of the stronger ones. Gold, silver, really like those trades. If you have a particular one that you're looking through, let me just quickly scan a few of these. I mean, maybe towards the short. I don't know if I love that one that much, but there is a consolidation there. Yeah, just send them through as we're doing the webinar. Do we have a US dollar CAD this week, Ty? Are we done with that for now?
I'm not excited. I'm just watching it now. It's done its job as well. Christmas came early on it too, really. and it's in a bit of a free fall at the moment, which the CAD can do. Look, the next support, I think you've got your yellow line there. The 200 in the yellow level that you've got there is probably the next port of call for it. But yeah, for me, it's got to do something now technically to trade it. The longs are well and truly out, and yeah, I'm not looking at catching this. It needs to reverse, or at the very least, come back and test the moving averages from the bottom.
It does show you that when you recognize a great trend line, though, and that trend line breaks, man, it was some serious shorting. So there was some volatility in these markets. But where I think I've been most excited recently has got to be the US 500. I've actually been loving this one. I think that it was a pretty good closure. It was a solid 4,500 level. I never really believed too much in this being a full-on correction because of the nature of how it fell down. But if we think about it, the 1 hour and the 2 hour, so let's have a look at the 2 hour here, and the 1 hour, we'll use the 1 hour actually, on Friday, I think they were showing towards this buying by Wall Street. And remember, what happens at the close is really important. So they shorted that thing right down. They pushed it straight to the 4,500 into the weekend. But look at this buying action we saw. And I mentioned this in the weekend video, and I think a lot of you probably would have seen this. I saw a few people say, I was looking at buying this and I was buying it because of the weekly. And I don't blame you at all. Weekly 20. I mean, if you're going to be picking one of the zones, weekly 20, weekly 50 are some solid zones. We've talked about this with the private community so many times. Weekly 20, weekly 20, weekly 20. It's statistically likely based on it being the mean reversion. I mean, Ty, is this a real deal, the weekly 20? It always is, isn't it?
Bull call spread, bull call spread, bull call spread. All the way up.
Well, that brings up something we just did in the options before, didn't we, Ty, for options members? And if anyone's looking at doing the course, make sure you get into it because we're now doing monthlies and potentially even more than monthly extra little tidbit sessions for people that are members of the options course. Bull call spread, Ty, would have been very handy down here if you were making that kind of assumption that we were going to base. We were going to have maybe a Santa rally or some kind of bullishness. You could put a bull call spread obviously up at the highs up here, and your ratio would have been considerable and very, very nice. And it's almost there already. So this thing's super, super aggressive. What do we expect today? This is the question that a lot of people are asking. Do we expect a bit of a sell-off due to the fact that it gapped so much? I mean, gaps can not fill. We've got some stats on gaps here from Ian in the community, which is really cool. He showed that pretty much if gaps are going to fill, it's got a 20% chance of filling the next day. Then it has a 10% chance of filling the day after that. And then it starts to really drop off, 7.5% or 7%, 5%. And then after the fourth or fifth day, it kind of becomes negligible that it's going to fill that gap. So remember, if a gap is going to fill, it should fill relatively quickly. And that's his research done from 1927 all the way up to 2021 October. So it's really handy to have people in the community that are prepared to pull the data for us on this. I've asked him for a few things, and this has just been one of them. Handy information. And he's cool. Accurate too. Yeah, it's really
very,
good.
very cool.
So that SPX or SPY double bottom is now pretty much printed. I think that's the base currently. A lot of people have been yelling Elliott wave at me and Tyrone. The Elliott wave is cool and all when you're investing, but we stay away from it for a reason. It's because for us, it's a little bit too subjective over the longer term. This doesn't mean you can't use it. But yeah, I think that when you are considering, so what a lot of people are considering now is it's moving out like this and it will move down like that. I think I just focus on, and Tyrone focuses on the current price action and what we're seeing. We've got the double bottom. We've broken the downward trend. We've literally closed above. We could pull back, but where do we think we're going to find support? Do you think this round here, Ty, these two moving averages? Would that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, that's a logical place. I mean, I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it down there just primarily because it'll give us another trading opportunity, really. From a selfish standpoint. And I mean, and to touch on Elliott wave, look, we do get asked that a lot. And it's a case of, and not only, sometimes we get lectured on it, actually. I mean, I get lectured a lot on, you never talk about the three black doves and the four turtlenecks and whatever it is the hell they've seen on YouTube or bloody one of those videos on Google the day before. Why don't you trade that? Why don't you trade the black crows, Thomas? Why don't you trade the turtles? Why don't you do this? Because we don't have to. We understand what works for us, it doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It just means that it doesn't work as part of our strategies because it contradicts what our signals are trying to tell us, right? So you don't have to know everything. And it's probably the lesson for tonight. Don't try and understand everything because you'll put yourself in a state of confusion that you won't be able to resurrect. You only need to understand what you know works for you. And we're not saying by any stretch of the imagination that the only things that work are the things that we discuss. What we can say with a level of authority is the things that we discuss work very, very well for us. And I know for a lot of you guys now as well. So don't get too caught up on, the next big fad. And I'm not saying Elliott waves are fad. Elliott waves are religion. And people who trade it can trade it very, very effectively. But I can assure you they're not trading things that we're doing as part of it. And that's the key. You don't want to be mixing strategies too much when they contradict what you're seeing because it'll lead you into a state of confusion that will make it very, very messy. So to that, I say, I love learning and I love asking questions and answering questions. But the easiest way to explain why we don't do Elliott wave is simply because it doesn't work well. It doesn't play nice with our set of toys. That's probably the best way that we can
I
say it.
agree with Dav here, though. He says, I think Elliott wave's good to know the ABCs make sense. We agree with all ABCs. ABCs are good.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I'm telling you that if you studied it and that's all you did, I'm sure that you'll be very, very successful at it. But again, to me, it's an investor's mindset more than a trader's mindset. And I think, that you've got to keep that in mind. We're looking for the shorter moves. I think that's more of a longer term investment strategy. And it does work perfectly fine for that.
Yeah. So this becomes the question, do we fill the gap? If it's going to happen, there's a 20% likelihood based on what we saw in those stats that it happens over the next session. If you start to see weakness, this is what you're looking for, guys. You're really looking for the weakness in the session. Now, how do you define weakness? Well, we know that it kind of sat here all day, sold off, and then rallied right near the close. We're going to open exactly on that level. Look, 0.01% up it is currently. So if we open there, where do we start to see the algorithms freak out? They're going to freak out once it gets underneath the previous session, kind of swing here. If that happens, where do we next go to? Somewhere around down here, which is those other moving averages, that kind of level. That's when you're filling, and that's where a day trader will come in. They'll execute towards the short and then obviously look towards the buy. But if you did want to execute towards the short, then you're at this point starting to look, okay, where's our next buying opportunity? Where's the gap going to fill? And if you don't get it correct, you're looking for that turnaround story on the 1 minute, 5 minute charts. Smaller time frame. So remember, when we talk about these key levels, it's all about then going and interpreting them down in the smaller charts because that's what a day trade is going to have to do, or a scalper. But I like the idea of possible weakness here today.
Most definitely. Ben asks, is Can still on? Oh, Ben, is Can still on? Mate, it is on. It is booking out fast. We were able to open up the room. We were getting more people in there now because the restrictions have been lifted. So originally we could only get 20 people in the room. Now we've got a vacancy for up to 50 or 60. So it is definitely still on and getting very, very close now. Thomas is already starting to work out for it. Now, he probably doesn't want me to tell you this, but I know for a fact that he is hitting the gym. He does not want to be intimidated by anybody at Cairns. He's going to be getting his top off by the pool.
Oh, I don't know about that.
And he's in heavy training for it. Don't worry about that. So yes, Ben, in short, it is on and it is getting very, very exciting. I believe we're within 12 weeks now.
I might have to do that 8-week challenge.
Huh.
But now, the 8-week challenge starts after Christmas. That's what we say. We'll do gym for now. We're getting ready for it. Is that right, Ty? Ready for it.
That's right.
So the SP500, I like what we're seeing here. I do believe, and I think Tyrone believes when we've been discussing here, that there is real potential towards all-time highs by the end of the year. Obviously, that's not asking much anymore. But yeah, look, this was always going to be a key zone. And I think if you always keep in the back of your mind, 20 moving average weekly, 20 moving average weekly, and you bring together some of the things we've discussed, which has been fib retracement into this zone. The fib was coming right into the 50%, 38.2, exactly where we wanted to be. The central pivot monthly was sitting right in that area. Previous resistance was around there. And we had the puts sitting all over 4,500 for the next 2 weeks. So I'd be surprised to crack under that zone at this stage. I think the news is improving. Anything can happen at any point, but it does look at this stage quite positive. And it's another word of warning for people trying to short the market, because there's no doubt this is a head and shoulders. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. But we've warned countlessly against shorting this index. When you're shorting an index off a head and shoulders, everyone can see this. Every single person was spotting this one, and it closed, and it's not dead yet, because obviously people should have their stop losses above here, but it's getting dangerously close. And I think that would be the final nail in the kind of coffin of the bears here, Ty, for the end of the year. That's how. I mean, there will be little shorts, but overall, once they get above here, I mean, is there much left for the bears?
No,
they're gonna have to go into hibernation.
I wouldn't have thought so. No, I wouldn't have thought so. And realistically, even if you took that trade, shouldn't you be already out of it if you took the 80% rule anyway? And it landed on the 200. Like, what the freaking hell are you waiting for?
Oh, yeah, but well, because
and it hit a roll reversal.
Yeah,
that stands
but
out.
I think it's fair to feel like you might be able to get back down to the bottom of our trend line that we've used for a long time. This trend line's
I understand. I know.
Yeah,
I know.
So
but I see a big warning sign at that roll reversal zone, though. Like, golly gosh, you got a 200 moving average and a roll reversal zone. I'd be treading really, really carefully if you were shorting that.
It's tough stuff. IWM probably presents the best in terms of their markets, though. We've said this once before over here, and it did break and it did rally. I did warn also against the short here. We didn't see turnaround. This was another one of those stories. The private community must rewatch our videos on this. Turnaround. You must see lightning bolts. You must see double bottoms. Don't just randomly buy a level when it's falling off a cliff. It would save you on gold. It would save you on the Russell 2000. We've now seen a base. We've now seen the accumulation. Double bottom here. 2 hour 20 completely breached above. It's a big deal. It's a huge thing. We've completely breached that. We could rally down, but 220 is more of a buying opportunity than anything else if that does happen. And I think this presents the best index percentage. It's not without its own risks, but we have a super base at 212.
Yeah.
I mean, this has been a base for a long time. I think this is the least risk market.
Your thoughts, of the indices. Yeah, of the indices for sure. Yep. Yeah. No, I agree, Paul. Paul says that he feels like Russia and the US and the Ukraine is the only big issue to upset the markets. And look, it is. That's always going to be the risk. And generally, unfortunately for us as traders, we have to, although anticipate that risk, it really comes without warning most of the time. That's the thing that can upset the markets. You're right. So I think we just have to deal with it and just hope they don't do it on purpose and short sell everyone. And Tom's got this theory that they do that.
Who? Who do what?
That the politicians love to upset the market to suit themselves and find a way to trade it.
No, that's
I can't see how they don't, to be honest. But yeah.
I don't want to talk about politics. Hideous things. All right. No, hideous. No one likes politics. Let's move over to US 10-year 1.76. Doesn't really matter, I think, at the moment. Look, if everyone was so concerned about inflation, why is this not getting out of control? This should be ballistic right now if it was really going into hyperinflation. So just keep an eye always on 10 years. The US 10-year is a big deal here, and I think that's something we want to look at. Let's move over to US oil. This is fantastic. I've liked it a lot. It was another one of those Wyckoff accumulations. We've got that max pain here, basing. Some people would call it left shoulder, head, right shoulder. It doesn't really matter what you call it. On the channel, we were very big on this level, and it certainly has been doing quite well. And you know what? I think there's even more potential in it, Ty. We break through this 72, next stop 75. It seems like it wants to do it, and it's a great base formation. And OPEC does not care. They're like, to mention politics one more time, all the governments around the world, they don't want oil going up. And OPEC's like, oh, we want oil to go up, and we're going to do everything in our power to cartel that stuff right now. And they certainly are doing a good job. Your thoughts on this 72, 80, 90 area, 73?
Yeah, I love the short. I love the short that we got down to these levels. I think it was very predictable, actually. Once it broke down, it could have gone either way when it did short. It was either, I did say it in the Friday wrap that I think either way is a good trade. And I think this is the same here. I think you're getting a really good base. We break that level and off we go again. I think the party starts again.
And we've
I
been
like
pretty
it.
accurate with the oil as a community. I think the community's been very good on the old oily trades. It's been good. What other ones have we got? Well, I think a lot of stocks are starting to look pretty good. There's a lot of investment grade kind of levels for certain stocks. Hypers are getting bashed. But that being said, I mean, they're getting really cheap, Ty. Have a look at some of these. Just to give you an example, let's look at Square. Not that I love Square anymore since the Afterpay announcement. I've disliked this stock, but this stock is now belted like a 40+%. I mean, just got absolutely obliterated. We have plenty of other stocks getting obliterated. DKNG, another one of the favorites of the retail market. That's really high, far down there now. Roku got obliterated all the way back down as well. So a lot of people say, oh, it's an overpriced market. But in many ways, all of these incredibly high, high PS ratio stocks, that's price to sales stocks, have come down considerably. And they're at some interesting zones. I think Disney presents okay at the moment. It's starting to recover. Let's have a look at this. Now, Ty's theory is Mandalorian. Well, what about the Book of Boba Fett? If that's good, Ty, that'll get it through.
Never heard of it.
You should. It's basically the Mandalorian. It's Boba Fett, man. You don't know who Boba Fett is?
I thought they cancelled it.
No, it's not cancelled, surely. Really?
I thought they canceled, or they postponed it, didn't they?
Of Boba Fett release date. Let me.
I thought they postponed it.
29th of December. Don't you worry, it's ready.
Right.
It's all good.
Well, then Disney's going to start going up again.
Is that the thing? Okay. Well, I like it, actually. It's in our weekly here. Let's go look at the daily. I mean, it started to ramp fairly high. Let's go the 2 hour. I mean, the 2 hour definitely based. You can see here the little miniature inverse head and shoulders. It's broken through. That break is, I think, relatively significant. And it's not obscenely priced or anything like that anymore. But if we get the movement that we expect, there's a decent runway here. The runway is from this point to this point.
It's a big move. Yeah, there's no question about that. Yeah. Big potential.
So this is certainly one of the zones we want to be targeting, that 12%. So this is a stock that's certainly coming down to a key level. Amazon, one I've been following for a while. It's actually acted okay. I mean, not fantastic, but okay. It hit that resistance. I was hoping for bigger rally into the Thanksgiving. Obviously, we got that Omicron stuff happening. It's come back down to our trend line, bounced off it, gotten back above this previous resistance, and now we're hoping for further rally here from Amazon. So it's been sitting for a long time. It's actually getting cheaper by the day on a PS ratio or a PE ratio or whatever you want to look at it. That being said, fundamentals, we're not going to really go into that. The technicals themselves are improving. Would you agree, Ty? It's looking okay.
Yep. It's looking better. Definitely looking better.
All right, fantastic. There are a lot of other positions. Look, I mean, if you've got any you want to look at, what I might do is I'll get the community to show us a few things. We've got copper.
We've got copper. We've got pound CAD for Kim.
Yeah.
We've got.
I know. I call him by his handle as well.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. So he's pound CAD. Yeah, that's an interesting one. So it's shorting here. If you notice, it's going pretty damn short. 2 hours has just flagged down. So there's the flag. That's a super aggressive.
That's
sell.
A big ass flag.
But that's a big ass flag with a massive length on it. I mean, if we take the technical, we'll go with this one just to be a bit safer. See if it proofs. Anything? Oh yeah, it's pretty good. So that seems to be the next level that you would think it's going to. 2 hours certainly is a flag, isn't it?
Most definitely.
Yep.
Jay Nibble says that I would be proud because he bought right at the 68% retracement, assumed you would have a resistance on the way up at 0.5 and scaled out. Bought the dip and retest, and I am in profit. Good job, man. Nice one.
What's this on?
He's following the course. I'm not sure what stock was it, Jay Nibble? What are you in, man?
I like scaling. The word scaling made me happy. New Zealand US dollar is very scaling. I do love scaling. Hey, I think it's a game changer. It helps a lot of people's psychological problems. And as I always say, if you cut down the biggest thing, This isn't actually mine, but whatever. I'll use it anyway. So trade plan, risk management, most important thing in trading, actually yourself. Understanding yourself, understanding your traits, the things that you do well, the things you do poorly. And I believe scaling fixes probably about 60% of those problems, a lot of problems that people have, over trading, etc. What other ones would you have here, Ty? Odd CHF. Let's have a look at that. So odd CHF. Well, firstly, anything with a CHF in it, I don't like it. That being said, it's kind of similar to the odd itself. I'd probably say I prefer the odd US dollar. Pretty similar type of thing, broken out. Yeah, I'd probably say I prefer the odd US dollar, Graham, but yeah, it's nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's gone a nice rally. I'm sure you've got some reasons. I don't know which ones you're looking at. Maybe you probably have to send me a copy of it. I'm not exactly sure what you're looking at here. Maybe a pullback back down to this zone, looking for a long, lightning bolt long. But yeah, the odds.
It's got potential. Look, it could get to 67 again. I mean, that's the next place it's going to find serious resistance.
Did you notice 2 people had the pound CAD? Stephen had it as well. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Stephen had it. All right. What else have we got down here? Scaling, says Huey. That's good. Good work, Huey. That's good. And Graham says, caught all of that rally. Always happy. Oh, so you got it down the bottom here.
Man.
So he's pulled it down here, maybe off previous weekly or something support.
That's cool. I know you were talking about it the other day, Graham. I know. I think you were already in the other day. Yeah, and I hear you. We've got another one there. Which one?
What about Intel? Intel is the really bad stock that keeps on doing nothing. Now people are going to like it because it's come back down. So we've got a base formation here, Ty. We have a support. We do have a breach. Now, I don't know why it's rallied so hard into this resistance, then sold straight off it yesterday. Look, I can see why you might want to pick up this level. You've got previous supports. It's clearly breached it. I don't like it when it breaches and it holds as a red, but that wasn't a super aggressive move. I mean, what was the percentage here actually off the top? Let's have a look. So it went up 7.8% throughout the day. So that's pretty phenomenal. Earnings is a while off, which is good news. So might get optimistic into that. Yeah, I don't mind this zone. Ty, your thoughts? I actually don't mind it at all.
No, I don't mind it. I think it's done. Well, I mean, I don't like a big dirty red candle like that after a gap, but it finds itself at support. So I think you have to respect it. I wouldn't be just jumping in though. I'd probably let it sort of self out. I think because the move up is there's plenty of move up. If you get a small time frame change of trend at this level, I think that's a far better trade.
Small time frame trend change movement. Next time it goes to 54.39, probably smokes it. It's probably going to go through that zone, I'd say. And then the next stop is the 58 train. So percentage wise, there's a lot there, but I agree with Ty. You need a base. There's no way that you can. You need to see how it interacts with today's market. Does it start turning around? Yep. Do we get a lightning bolt? Do we get some kind of 15-minute turn? Something. You need something. Give us something. Kim says the news is Mobileye split from Intel caused the ramp. Sure, but we need to still see whether that's an initial FOMO shock.
Yeah,
due to the news. Now we want to see actually continuous buying.
Yeah, no, here. Did we look at the New Zealand US dollar and Thomas being accused of burning it? Did he burn it?
I didn't burn it. I just called it the same thing as the odd. Basically, it was just low. If we go down to the 4 hour, it's breaking through a trend here, and it's doing the same thing. It's just like a weaker looking odd. But that being said, the ramp is stronger.
So I did my Tuesday market watch on this. So for those, I mean, we're still waiting for the break, right? No, surely you're not in. I'd like to think not. If you listen to anything that I said, it's got potential for 60 or 70 pips on the scalp, but it's got to do the job still. It's got a little bit of work to do yet.
I assume it's here and here.
Work to do. Yeah, spot on. Bang.
Yeah, I would agree with you. That's what I was about to draw. I didn't watch Tuesday tip, but I'd agree with that action. But if someone's saying which is the strongest one right now, I guess technically the odd has already moved. This one here needs to get through this zone to this area. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah. Now, Robert, I think if you're referring to the New Zealand USD, I think it's stable. I think at this level, I don't think it's still going down. But in saying that, yeah, you should still. I'm not long. I'll be waiting for that price action, like I said in the video. Once patience is key here on this one, because if it does it, you're going to get a good trade, and if it doesn't, I think it's got the moving average underneath it now. The 4-hour 20s right there. That needed to break that, so we've had that consolidation above it since we actually looked at that trade. We just need that move up. We've got to get above that 68, and 68 sort of 75 is the target on that one, mate.
All right, cool. We'll just do some quick lightning stocks here. We've got Hubs as a request. Pretty
rapid
sure this
fire.
one's it's rapid fire, Ty. So we've got here a movement that's coming into the green zone. We've analyzed this one a few times, I believe. So yeah, it looks fine. I mean, you've got some backup kind of supports for it, so that's good. It's been overall in the long-term trend up, and I think we've discussed it quite a few times, Jay Nibble. What else do we have here before we do the crypto? Platinum and copper. So let's do copper. Copper, I don't know, trapped. I've just got to sit behind this zone. To me, that is just a very scary area to trade.
You can't do anything with it.
Yeah, we'll call that trapped for now. We'll come back to it. I know you probably want me to go into the smaller time frames, but I'll go with trapped, and Ty will too.
It's hard to trade small time frames on copper. It really is.
Copper's not cheap, and there's problems with it. Not many people look. Copper's cool and all during its right time, which is out of a crash. Okay,
yes,
that's when you trade copper. Other than that, I call it the no-go land. I think it's in no-go land again, Ty.
Yeah, platinum's looking better though. Platinum on like you look at this and we see a bottoming pattern, very important support at that level, and we're about to see the break that we want. Yeah, good consolidation above these moving averages. Happy days. First point of call is probably around that 980, 990 level. Probably call it 1,000. Really, if you draw a line right there. That's it's a good move. Like damn, like it's a reasonable move on this one.
Yep, I like what we're seeing on the left-hand side and the right-hand side and everything. Let's get this daily closed above. You can see it's got lots of. Oh yeah, let's get that daily closed above.
We need to close above there. Absolutely.
I like it. Looks good. Let's get into crypto. Some people are mentioning it's crashing. Let's have a look here. Okay, so
and we've got an APTV as well. At some point.
Yeah. What? APTV. Okay. So Bitcoin sitting around 49.5. Let's have a look here at the 2-hour. So it's right around that previous resistance. You don't really want it underneath here. So hopefully it finds some buyers.
I'd be starting to get scared if it breaks that zone.
Yeah, let's not let it down below here, guys. Come on.
You might want to draw a fence, Thomas.
I don't like drawing fences on crypto, Ty. It has a tendency to crash, and I think fence only comes out in special occasions. If you ask me to put a 4,500 fence down, I'd do it. Where will I put the fence? All right, I'm going to put a fence. I'm going to put it where I think it's safer to put the fence. Look, turnaround needed here. Watch it. If you're in it and you care, 15-minute, 5 minutes.
Needless to say, it's an extraordinarily important zone here. And I think even Blind Freddy can see that.
Very, very important that you never got a rally off that, actually.
Yeah.
Which is what I was mentioning today. We did a rally off this. We never got it. So let's see if this holds up. Hopefully it does. That'll be the key zone. Let's check BTC shorts quickly here. Nah, it's not that. So it could be all right. Maybe there's like a little bang, bang kind of Wickapalooza. Let's do the APTV.
Yeah, guys, I think it's more a razor wire fence on that. I know you're saying barbed wire, Paul. I reckon it's probably razor wire, maybe electrified. I think it needs everything.
It does need a lot.
Yeah,
I don't mind it. Now has it acted? Oh, it has acted technically in the past. Nice inverse. Very nice inverse. Very nice breach. Decent test, retest. Good. Seems to be quite technical, this stock. So yeah, I like the base. If we go into the 4-hour, we check that out. Very nice. Cool zone. Got a good resistance across here. Get a little closure above there, and we're feeling pretty good. Movement up to the next resistance. I like it. Ty?
Really nice. Yeah. Really nice. Yeah. It just needs to get past that. This is where patience kicks in. Like, I know you're going to be tempted to just jump in and say, I'd be waiting on this one, yeah? Like, just wait till it actually does what it needs to do. Because I think you got good movement up. Yeah, I like these trades because they've got good range. You know, you can be patient and actually take the conservative trade and still get a really good result. That is ideal.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, Ty. Well, I think that brings us probably to the end. Thank you so much to the community for the support recently. We do appreciate it. We hope that you're having a decent December and you've been able to take advantage of some of the markets. As we suspect and as we kind of expect in the markets today, possibly a little bit of weakness here in the S&P 500, Nasdaq, maybe a little bit of gap fill. There could be some opportunity there if you are on the smaller time frames. I think that will be probably the story of the session. And hopefully, Bitcoin holds up around that 49.6, 49.5 zone. We don't really want it to get dumped underneath that.
No,
that will be I don't really want a crash right now. Let's bring some correction in Feb. Now, a few of you will disagree, but it would be better that it holds here just for everything else.
I don't want to hear the coffee lady tell me when I'm getting my morning coffee that, it's time to buy Bitcoin because it's crashing. I heard it on the news. We need Christmas cheer at this time. We're at later December. We need Christmas cheer. So let's just hope that level holds up, and let's just hope that fence of Thomas's doesn't even get tested. Goodness gracious.
So, I think that fence would have like a cow run through it, Ty.
Yeah. All right, guys, let me tell you this. Housekeeping very, very quickly. We are doing the public Q&A tomorrow night, first week of the month. Because we missed the last week of the month, so we're doing the first week of the month. I just make up the rules as we go along. You probably worked that out already. So it's public tomorrow night. Okay, so 10 p.m. Our time. So in 15 minutes from now, hopefully you can make it. I'll put the link into the Discord room. We had a lot of questions about the conference. It is most definitely on, guys. It is definitely on. We're let back into the state, obviously, so there's no worries about that. But I do believe, rightly or wrongly, or whatever your thoughts are, you will have to be double vaccinated to attend. Okay, so that's not our decision, that's the hotel's decision. So just bear that in mind. Okay, that they will be checking. So we don't have any choice on that one, but we are really, really looking forward to it. All jokes aside, Tom is going to shout for an hour. I know he says he's not going to, and he is fairly tight, but I reckon he's going to he's had a pretty good year of trading this year, and I reckon he's going to shout for an hour. So it's probably worth it just for that, because it does really pain him to spend money. So
yeah. I was going to shout the coffees. See, I thought it was tabs on Thai coffees.
The coffees are free.
Oh, well. No one needs to know that, man. No one needs to know that. Here you go. Have a cappuccino. Have a latte. Have whatever, dirty chai or whatever. It's all good.
No. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Been a really, really good night. Obviously, the replay will be up shortly. We'll see you in the Discord room, and I hope to see you tomorrow night at 10 p.m. for Q&A, and then, of course, on Friday morning for Friday Wrap. So thanks again, and I look forward to seeing you very soon.
See you, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. And of course, smash that subscribe button and hit the like button as well. It does help us out on this channel. And we're over 1,000 thanks to everyone in the community. And if you aren't aware, we have our main channel over on FX Evolution. Search that in YouTube. It comes up 71K or something. We're on the road to 100K. I hope to hit it in 2022 with you guys. Catch you for now. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.